Boom. Salutations. You know, once again for this Sasquatch series, I want to do a fast blast and really introduced a concept that I think would be effective and coordinated with the nuclear DNA that we don't know exactly where it comes from of Sasquatch, of what that lineage is that can't be found in GenBank, and what that is and how that connects to how some of the species of Sasquatch have these apparent paranormal abilities, how they might be manifested beings and that manifest when people are around. To the most part, they use the energy morphogenetic field of humanity to manifest when people are near. And these are things that, I think we need to deal with, and what things they actually can do. People throw out the quote so quickly now, oh, they're interdimensional. Well, what does that really mean? You know what I'm saying? What is the other dimension like, yo? Is it different space? Is it different width? It's a different breadth, different volume? What is it? And what are they like when they're in it? Is it like here at all? Or are they energy? Are they completely non-physical? These things of interdimensional are just is a word that's thrown around a little too easy. So anyway, just dealing with some of the things that they do, like such as being bulletproof, and these things like that, these things that I've brought up that seem to, I've heard some military people saying, the whistleblowers, I'm doing a video about that, saying, oh, we could bring them down, we brought many of them down, but sometimes there's the quality of them being impervious to bullets, just like other cryptids. So when dealing with these Sasquatch, something I find very fascinating is the amount of time you hear in encounters people saying they walk up on these Sasquatch and they crash down, knocked out, and just be straight up asleep. You know what I mean? I've heard several accounts of like people coming up in their barns, these things are in their barns asleep. And for as leery as practices they are at being secluded, and as weary as they are of humans, why would they ever crash out where people in near a populated habitation? It doesn't make a lot of sense, except for one thing. When we start dealing with how old some of these beings may be, with this other DNA, with the fact that they're going back to when this was a type 1 civilization, and we had a whole nother thing going on here. And I want to take this and correlate this with what Carlos Casteneda called dreamers and his work, all right? And something's interesting, he went really deep into the dream practices, and what that involved was actually transferring your full cognitive ability and your conscious abilities into your dream body and manifesting it here in the third dimension. So that's another manifesting technique, but that's what actually Don Juan and his teachers were doing. So taking this and cross-referencing this with Sasquatch, since we don't know where people like the novels and the Olmecs actually got that knowledge to do that, all right? And are Sasquatch dreamers of that degree, using their energy body and their dream body. And that's why they're crashed out around people, where they're showing they're somewhere else being seen or doing something different. A lot of times when Don Juan would show up, his teacher, and Don Genaro with Carlos Castaneda, they would start performing feats that were unreal. Things of levitation and things that would make him lose control of his bowels. Somewhat similar to what Sasquatch has been reported doing. Sometimes you've heard weird things about them scaling cliffs in a way that's almost levitation-like, or being impervious to bullets. The dream body does not conform to the same parameters of this physical body, so therefore bullets would be one of them. That would be impervious to that if they're in the dream body. A lot of times when Don Juan and Genaro showed up with him, they're in the dream body. That's what his whole thing is about. That whole practice and tradition of lineage of what he was doing was about the dream body thing, and moving the assemblage point on the dream body and on the luminous cocoon. Anyway, stepping forward, I've said before that the Sasquatch, or that whatever it was I interacted with at that Ascetti Ranch, I don't know for sure it was a Sasquatch, whatever this thing was, it felt very ancient to me. And it felt like, we talk about shaman type of feeling, it felt like that. Very old, okay? So, and much stronger telepath than me. So what makes you think that these individuals don't possess the awareness, dream awareness, and know these ways of techniques of perception? We know how keen they are at perceiving things, and actually shape-shifting and shifting into the dream body consciously and with the cognitive awareness is done really with the minutia. It's done with intent, you know. So that's really food for thought, you know, with keen observation, that ways that you transfer that energy into the dream body, and then you begin to mold it. And doing those things, I think that's what these beings do, because they're also reported to be shapeshifters a lot, right? And that comes through what? That's something that's done through the dream body, like I just said. So we'll go over that again. But anyway, I think this is a very prevalent, great question. And you know, some of these topics I'm coming up now as I come to the end, is the Sasquatch epic series, as I'm calling it now, is I'm finding it hard to find pictures. I like putting up pictures and music. I think it sets a nice tone for these videos. So thank you for that, PC. Anyway, so food for thought. Talk amongst yourselves. Feel free to comment on here. I don't have all the answers, all right, but I think this is a good topic to deal with when dealing with this different dream techniques that were presented by Castaneda and those quote-unquote Chocmules that all made the books with him. Florinda Donner, Tasha Ablar, Marilyn Tanashindi, the main ones. So, you know, look and check it out. They've got dream techniques too that were introduced to them that were for the female part of the lineage that are different. And when taking all that and combining it, where did that come from? Who were they training with in the beginning of these lineages, which goes way, way back? We know Sasquatch goes that far back. I'm not saying every type of them can do this, but there's one type that has metaphysical abilities and people don't want to talk about it. That's the way it is. I'm out. Please subscribe, hit the bell so you get new notification when I put something new out. I want to thank the people on Patreon. They're the ones that are making these videos possible. Thank you. And thank you for everybody who's actually getting some great comments, intelligent comments, not just this troll stuff going on. I'm seeing people conversing on this channel, on the comments section. That's great. I'll comment on some of them. I can't do all of it for all these videos, but I'm trying to interact a little bit. So please subscribe and share the video. Peace.